Template Skipper might be the best Malice extender card that you aren't playing. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you're new here. I'm Don, and today we're taking a look at my deck profile that I went undefeated with at my locals recently. All right, so at the start of the video, I was saying that this card is pretty much the most underrated Malice extender that you aren't playing. And the reason for that is simple. All you need is a Cyverse Link monster on the field that's pointing somewhere. And you can just get this card in the field. And it not only banishes from the grave, it banishes from the hand. So you have times where, let's just understand this. Your deck has 3 normal summons. So if you're going to play Dormos and your Dormos get like top and you have another normal summon in hand, the least you can do is just link off into a Lingoribo to protect yourself from impulse, and then you can just find a way to get this card, summon it into the arrow that the Lingoribo points to, and then banish one of your normal summons from your hand, pretty much, because you already normal summon already. So the least you can do is just put those bodies to use to banish them, and then they'll summon. You can always banish from the grave, but it's a lot better to banish from your hand, because whenever you get to your binder, you can always banish from the grave. So why would you banish from the grave, to be honest? Also, most of the times you might be playing greedy and you'll go like normal summon Chessie and Chessie's effect to banish something like a Dormos or a White Rabbit in hand, and you'll get like Vader or even Ash. You can just do the same thing. You go into Lingoribo and then summon this guy and you can banish it. And it not only banishes like dark monsters, it can banish your Earth Cyvers. So even if you have a Dustcaper in hand, you can legit banish the Dustcaper, trigger its effect, it's going to summon, and now you have 2 bodies on the field. And not to mention, you didn't banish the monster from the grave, so you can always turn the Dustcaper and your Template Skipper into a Lizardo. With Lizardos on the field, you'll also still have your Lingoribo, which once you use your Lizardos to banish the Malice that you links off into Lingoribo, they can't impulse you because you have Lingoribo there to check them pretty much. And another thing is, seeing that it takes the name of the monster that it banishes, technically it's a Malice monster once it banishes a Malice monster. However, you can't use the traps on it. You can just use it as link material because they require a Malice monster. If you've watched my previous video, you see why I'm playing 3 Chessie and 2 Field Spell, because you rather see monsters than the Field Spell. Because if you have to start with your Field Spell, that means that you're already starting off by banishing a name, and that leaves you a lot more vulnerable to a lot of the traps in the game. So yeah, that's the main reason for that. So like for the side deck, I barely even went into Lancea. The main cards that you'll be siding in are the Shifters, the Strike. This is like the #1 card to side in, and most of the time you'll be waiting for main when they normal summon. If you have a pistol in hand, they normal summon, you can just go Shifter. So if they have something like call by, you can chain your Bystial to banish the Shifter before it gets called by. So afterwards, you're pretty much like done. As for the extra deck, Goddess is pretty self-explanatory. Most of the time, your field is full and you need to clear the bodies while getting something oppressive on board, along with the Cerberus, because right now they are currently playing Chaos Hunter. I was expecting something like this. That is why I always favored Cerberus over the Phoenix, is what exactly is the Phoenix going to do. Cerberus now, you can get rid of like a Nip token, you can get rid of Chaos Hunter, you get rid of a lot of cards, and only thing you need after that is an extender and you're off to the races. Now let's get into the combos. So let's say something like you went normal summon and they landseed you, so now you can't banish from the deck. So what you're gonna do is use your silent mining, because we're playing from the sense that we don't have the template skipper in hand. So you go silent mining, maybe summon the template skipper to the Lingoribo zone, which afterwards will summon the splash mage. Splash mage is going to special summon the Dormouse. We're gonna turn those 2 into our white binder, and then obviously we can't use the effect on summon, so we're going to use the effect to set either one of our trap cards from the deck. The thing about these cards is you gotta know like the options that you're gonna do. It all depends on the type of deck that you're playing against. So if you're going up against like a graveyard deck, you're most likely going to use this, where that line you just banish the binder on res, and so that the binder can come back and banish 3 cards from the graveyard. Otherwise, you just banish a card on the field. If it's like a deck that needs a card that is really important, you can just banish that card and you're pretty much off to the races. So if you're playing something like a Blue Eyes, you can either banish the monster or banish the trap, or either thing that you feel that is more vulnerable to. You wouldn't necessarily go for this card. Yes, it's going to give you life, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to do anything unless you started off with something like a rabbit, where you can use this to reborn the rabbit, which the rabbit would set the TD, which the rabbit would set the MPT in your opponent's turn, which you can use it as an interruption by banishing the rabbit, so the rabbit will come back and do whatever, pretty much. So yeah, never go for this card. Like, it doesn't even make sense you think about it. So right here, the best option would be your MPC. All right, so you can say this might be the best line under Lancea because it not only sets up the link, it sets up two traps. Let's say you have like Bystial or this. If you get Lancea, you can't really use this guy. And I'm just adding this to show you that this card doesn't really help you against your weakness. If you're going second, sure, because you can always chain the Magnuma to banish the Lancea because they'll have a monster. But if you're going first, then you can't really do anything. So you get Lancea, you're pretty much cooked right here. So the only card that could help you is this guy. And this is why it's so underrated, as I said before. You normal summon your rabbit is going to set GWC. Very important why you're going to set GWC. That's because we're going to go Linkaribo. So even if like they stop all of this, we still have GWC. So we have follow up for the next turn. So we're going to go Splash. Splash is going to bring back the rabbit. And then we turn them into our white binder. As I said, this is the only card you'd go into once you're under shifter. So right now, you know what we're going to set because we already have our GWC. We're going to set our MPT. So pretty much we're just gonna end our turn. If we actually had like a pistol in hand, we could use it in our opponent's turn to do whatever. But as I said, I just added it to show you the difference between these extenders because this is good once you haven't gotten Lance yet. However, this doesn't care whether you get Lancea or not. It's going to be on the field. And with the fact that it's a level 1, it means that you can't really brick on it. And this card is also making me think of playing Anima. Seeing that you play Nib, you're always going to like drop a Nib token. So you can just find space for Anima. I know I'm going to find space for Anima in the extra deck to test out the Anima. Probably I remove the Goddess and try the Anima because as I said, it doesn't really come up a lot, but it does work to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much for this line because you're going to get 2 traps. You're going to get the MPT and the GWC. If you made it this far into the video, that must have meant that you found it interesting. You can leave a like, and if you're interested in seeing more videos from us, you can check out my channel. Also, if you want to see more videos from us in the future, you can subscribe to the channel. Alright, so the reason why I don't fancy access codes are is that your deck naturally OTKs. So right there, you use your Dormouse's effect to banish from the deck, and that will boost all your Malice monsters on the field, and that will be on the field for the rest of the turn by 600 attack points. So you're already getting a boost just by playing your deck. Then the rabbit is going to set the TV11. And right from right there, we're going to go into a lizard. And the funny thing about lizard is it modifies attacks on the field. So let's say we're going to banish our Dormouse and we can just target this monster right here, that 3000 attack. And we're going to turn that monster's attack into Dormouse's attack. And now our Dormouse will trigger. Then we're going to turn those two into our ransom. Ransom's going to add the field spell. We go TV to banish the ransom. Ransom going to summon. And it's going to banish Thoughtscaper from the deck. Thoughtscaper is going to summon. Then we're going to go into Decoder. And we're going to use all 3 to go into Cryptor. Decoder is going to trigger. Summon back to the field. And if we had another card in hand, this is where it gets like really nice. We're going to summon our Cerberus. Cerberus is going to discard a card. And let's say destroy this guy here. But we don't have a card because it's a 1-card combo, so it's pretty much there. It doesn't really matter. So right here, we're going to use the field spell. I banished the decoder because once it's summoned using its effect, when it leaves the field, it's going to be banished. So the field spell is going to banish the chassis because what did you think? Then we're going to turn the chassis and the Cerberus into our white binder. We're not going to use the effect on summon to banish. We're going to use the effect to set. We're going to set our GWC. And due to the boost from Dormouse, the white binder should be at 29. Let's say we enter battle. First, we're going to attack the monster that's at 900. So we're dealing 2000 damage. And so now we're going to use GWC. GWC right here is going to special summon our Red Ransom. And we're going to gain 23. Then our binder is going to trigger, gain like 900. And we're going to draw a card, or in this instance I didn't draw a card. We're focused more on the unsummon effect, which we're going to banish the Cryptor along with a Malice card and any monster card in your opponent's grave or any card that is important in your opponent's grave. The Cryptor is going to trigger. It's going to pay 900 as well, and it's going to summon back to your field, and its attack will be doubled. Along with the boost from Dormouse, and all monsters on the field, attack and defense will be swapped in that ransom is pointing to a monster. So right here, what we have is one monster at 29, 29, and the boss at 56. So once we continue right here, we can always shuffle back into the deck of Malice from the banish and then banish a card on the field. So you can just clear that monster and you go 29 direct, 29 direct, and please note they're already down like 2k, and then 56. That's well over 9,000. So yeah, that'll be it for the video today, guys, and see you guys next time.